Hello, and welcome to a Skanska project. My name is Hendrik Van Brink, and I'm a Chief Environmental Health and Safety Officer for Skanska in the United States. Today we're going to talk to you about things that you'll see at every Skanska project around the United States, starting with Stretch and Flex, taking you into pre-task planning, where it's not just the administrative process, but where we actively want your input in how we can do jobs safer and better. Executive site visits and how those are meaningful personal contacts between our leadership and you. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, this idea of stop work. We want you to feel truly empowered and not pressured, but feel empowered to be able to stop work when you see unsafe behavior. We at Skanska can talk about statistics and safety in a variety of ways, but really what it comes down to is a personal commitment to you and to your family that you go home safely every day.
Your day is going to start with safety. You're going to be talking safety all day long, and your day is going to finish with safety because it is our focus. We plan our work, we execute our work well, our job sites are clean, our people are professional, and the safety of you and of all our employees is our #1 priority.
Injury-free environment has been a part of the culture in Skanska in the United States for over a decade. We often refer to it as a journey, and we've seen amazing results. As a matter of fact, we have about 1 lost time accident for every 7 that the industry has. But the fact is, we still have that 1 lost time accident. So when we talk about that journey, when we talk about that progress, is to make injury-free not just a saying, but a way of how we work.
IFE is unlike any other safety program. IFE is not really a safety program in regards to, it's not about the numbers, it's not about making sure that the handrails are perfect. We do all those things. That's kind of a safety 101. IFE for Skanska is the next level. It is distilling a culture in every single worker on the job site that they are enabled to go home the same way they came to work every day. What we're trying to do is set the tone in every single job that everybody understands that they're in this together. It's not one individual, it's everybody in the job site responsible for safety.
We all have a job to do, and that job is to look out for each other so that we can go home the way that we came in safely.
I believe we'll get to zero by making sure that every person on our job sites has a focus on their own safety and cares enough about their coworkers to look out for their coworkers and make sure they're safe. So it's just the continual process of reviewing what we're doing, planning our work well, executing it professionally, and then debriefing and seeing what we could do better. And it's through that continuous improvement that we're going to get to zero.
Stretch and Flex, we talk a lot about that. It's really one of those things that identifies our organization. Obviously, it's a set of exercises. We talk about soft tissue injury reduction, but most of all is to get you comfortable with those people that you work with, to create a real team environment.
Stretch and Flex is our version of the pregame huddle, if you will. Construction is a team sport, and we take the opportunity to stretch and flex to prevent the soft tissue injuries. That's a primary concern, but also a very, very important concern is the interaction that occurs in that 5-10 minutes amongst the craft and the workers on the job site. They get to know each other. They see each other, if for no other reason, 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day to interact. How you doing? What are you thinking about? And it allows us to interact at a personal level and develop those relationships for safety, which is one of the primary drivers of the IFE culture.
The idea of pre-task planning is that in our business, in construction, our environment changes minute by minute. So that at the beginning of every day, we want you to be involved in really having a clear plan of how you're going to do your task safely. If you're working on a ladder, how are you going to maintain 3 points of contact? Do you need a personal fall arrest system? Do you need to have different PPE? All of those things become part of a planning process that you have to be involved in.
Some of our hazards for the day are moving the material, the lights from the gym to the kitchen area. Any other hazards that you guys can think of?
I got to tie up fixtures in the cafeteria. I'm going to be going over 6 feet. What do you want me to do?
Remember, we had the pole so you can do it from the ground, install the hangers from the ground so you won't need to go up on a ladder at all.
All right, I'll use that.
When we talk about pre-task planning, the message for each worker, including those of you that are going through orientation today, is to discuss all the hazards, all the precautions, be prepared, ask questions about the duties, and don't be afraid to say, I'm uncomfortable with that, or can you explain that one more time? Because this is about you performing your job and being safe at the same time.
And it's maybe a 10-minute meeting. They'll fill out a pre-task plan. They'll, again, go through all the hazards, document them, everybody will sign it, and they go to work. One of the primary drivers for the pre-task plan is to help avoid complacency. So just because somebody's been doing the same task every single day for 15 years doesn't mean that that one day, the next day, they won't forget something or be thinking about something at home or thinking about the drive to work or what they've got to do after work. So pre-task planning is an opportunity for the team to get together, have a dialogue about what's important, what the hazards are, and then go out into the field and execute those tasks and be mindful of those hazards. If you see something unsafe, you can stop. You can stop work. Every single person on this job site has permission to stop work. That is a fundamental piece of the IFE journey.
The key to our IFE culture is that we have to eliminate any unsafe act or unsafe behavior, because no matter how small or how insignificant an action might seem, it could lead to a disaster. So there's nothing that's too small to stop what someone's doing if you're concerned about their safety. If they're not wearing their safety glasses, they could get very badly injured. It's okay to stop them, talk to them, and encourage them to put their glasses on. You know, if there's a housekeeping issue, it might not seem like a big deal, but someone could easily trip, fall, and have a very serious injury. So there's really nothing that falls outside of your stop work authorization. You know, and don't wait for a disaster. It doesn't have to be a catastrophe in the making. Even the smallest thing can lead to that disaster, so step up and stop it.
Our responsibility that we have to you as a worker on this project is to make sure and assure that you and every other employee on this project goes home safely every single day. Your responsibility for us is to be a part of our eyes and ears to make sure that that happens.
So if you see something unsafe, you should feel comfortable enough to talk to another worker and express your concern. If you're not comfortable talking to another worker directly, you can talk to your foreman, you can talk to your superintendent, you can talk to anyone at any level on the job site to address the problem you see.
One of the things you will see as a worker on a Skanska project is you will see the executives come to the project site. And the reason is we want to show you our commitment to safety and our commitment to you.
I look for a number of things when I do my site safety visits. I look for the cleanliness of the project, the organization of the project. I want to make sure everybody is wearing personal protective gear, and I want to see that there's a camaraderie built around safety.
When I get to a job site, first thing I look for obviously is a safe site, a clean site, because those two things usually lead to safety. I'm interested in talking to the men and women who are out there swinging the hammers and doing the really difficult work in these dangerous conditions. What are their issues? How can we make them safer? Because they probably know better than we do. So I want that feedback.
It's not good luck that we go millions of man-hours without serious accidents. What it is, it's your actions. It's you coming to us and telling us when you see a problem and following the rules and living the IFE culture. That's what will help us get to zero and what helps us get to millions of man-hours without serious injuries.
If we are in a place where we constantly have our mind open to learning from all of those around us, we will together create something that's pretty remarkable. We can work in the most dangerous industry in the United States in a way that delivers quality, delivers schedule, delivers performance, and most of all, delivers you home to your family every day.
You can expect to come to work and be in a very, very safe environment. You can go home to the loved ones every single day the same way you came in to work that day. You have the expectations that if you see something unsafe, you won't be forced to do it. You can say, hey, I want to stop work. This doesn't make sense. Let's revisit this. You can expect that your voice will be heard. You have direct access to every executive within Skanska. That's how strongly we feel about this program.
What we'd really like you to do is think about safety in the decisions you make at work, at home, and how it actually changes the way that you look at how you deliver safety. Injury-free environment. It's not only about this job, it's not only about this project, it's really not even only about Skanska. It's about you.
Welcome to Skanska's Environmental Health and Safety Orientation. This is a video about our commitment to your safety and what you can expect on a Skanska project. For the next few minutes, you'll be briefed on the general overview of our company's safety program and what Skanska expects of you. At the conclusion of this orientation segment, you'll be briefed by your project supervision and/or project safety resource rep on the project-specific safety expectations and requirements for your project, which were derived from the SHIMS construction plan and/or JSA developed specifically for your project. Also during this briefing, it will allow you the opportunity to ask any questions you may have regarding what your safety expectations for the project you're assigned are with your project supervision. Please ask any questions. You'll also be given an employee safety manual, which has a verification form you'll need to sign indicating your acknowledgement of receiving and understanding our company's safety orientation. And you'll be given a sticker which you are to place on the right side of your company-issued hard hat. This sticker serves as your proof that you've completed the current environmental and safety orientation. You'll also be receiving your personal People-Based Safety iCare AC4P green wristband to utilize for the AC4P movement that our company is joining and will be explained in more detail during this safety orientation presentation. Skanska understands the complexity of construction projects and is totally committed to running an injury-free job site. We're aware of the hazards inherent in all projects and set forth herein our strategies to eliminate and/or protect against these hazards. We will evaluate and plan all activities prior to work commencing to ensure that all operations are carried out in a safe manner. We'll evaluate the safety concerns as the project progresses and will implement all measures necessary to support our commitment to an injury-free workplace and people-based safety principles. We realize it's our obligation to protect not only our employees, but also the environment and all others who may come in contact with or are exposed to our projects. We take this responsibility very seriously and will do all that is necessary to fulfill this obligation. These policies are to be considered a minimum effort toward compliance and will be reevaluated on an ongoing basis. When management action parallels management desire to accept only zero incidents, all employees will begin to believe that management is really serious about safety. The zero injury concept reflects Skanska's genuine acceptance of personal responsibility for the welfare of our employees. Nothing positively impacts the culture of an organization more than the realization that management really cares about and trusts the employees. At Skanska, our most important asset is our people. We care about every individual's safety and health. We're committed to providing our employees and clients with a safe work environment. Safety is everyone's responsibility. Safety will not be compromised for either profit or production, and we believe all incidents are preventable. We will never be satisfied with our safety performance and are dedicated to a continuously improving safety culture. How do we improve? By our continual improvement initiatives. Safety Excellence Strategy. Injury-Free Environment, IFE, Skanska's foundational safety culture philosophy that empowers workers to personalize safety every day. People-Based Safety, PBS, caring and valuing individual life and co-worker safety by giving positive recognition for safe behavior, engaging in the iCare program. Predictive Solutions, DBO2, making observation and coaching to identify trends and proactively address safety concerns before incidents occur. Near-miss reporting, capturing near-miss events and learning from these opportunities to prevent injuries and improve our safety culture. Safety, Health, and Environmental Management System, SHIMS, Skanska's risk management system that helps protect workers and the environment and keeps us compliant with ISO 14001 and OHSAS 18001 standards. Human Performance, or HP tools, human behavior tools to help drive desired safe behavior by eliminating errors and identifying hazards and risk. Thinking differently. We must think outside the traditional safety box and be open to adapting new safety strategies if we want to achieve safety excellence, where everyone is actively caring and looking out for each other's safety.
With Skanska, our core value of our company is our people. They're our biggest asset, and we invest a lot of time and effort into training from the IFE the DB02s, our people-based safety, our eye care program. Our commitment is from top down. The front line is our supervision. The time and focus that we spend with educating them is not much different than what we do with the people in the field every day that are in the trenches. But they're our front line defense, to where you have that person of contact as a resource for any additional information. As we change in the industry day in and day out, so is the environment, such as behind me in the excavation. The hazards are consistently changing day in and day out. It's not the same in the morning as it is at night. And that's what we need, is we need our frontline supervisors as well as our craftsmen out in the field, making sure that we're all working safe and looking out for each other.
At Skanska, our orientation and safety training programs are some of the most valuable tools we have to keep our employees safe. Whether it's your first orientation or your 25th, the practices and the procedures that you'll learn here today and that are in your safety manual are what's going to keep you and your fellow coworkers safe on the job. Your supervisor and your safety professional will get into more task-specific training to cover more specific aspects such as aerial lift use, confined space entry, and other aspects of the job. Take time today to look through your safety manual book for more specific tasks and procedures. If you have any questions regarding anything that you do throughout the day, you have a stop work authority card, you have foremen that you can ask, you have general foremen, safety professionals that are on your job site there to help you and help you perform your job safely.
Skanska is committed to an injury-free environment. How to foster an IFE culture? People-based safety. What is people-based safety? People-based safety is an innovative approach to safety that goes beyond behavior-based safety to focus on human behavior. It transforms the way you, the employee, conceptualizes the way you work, helping you approach each task in a safer manner. It makes you more aware of the dangers associated with your work and the best way to approach them. The approach is based on 4 key skill areas: acting, coaching, thinking, and seeing, or ACTS. By mastering these important skills, you develop a new awareness about safety that will guide you as you work and motivate yourself to care about your coworkers' safety too.
What is important to you? Why do you want to stay safe and avoid harm?
I don't want my wife to have to raise the kids by herself.
I want to live till I'm 90.
You hear that some guy got killed because he did something stupid. I don't want people saying that about me.
No one starts the day thinking, hey, it's okay if I'm hurt or die today. We all want to go home in good health and spend time with the ones we love. So why are people injured and killed every day? There are many reasons, but what they all boil down to is this: people stop paying attention to what they're doing. Not on purpose, but over time you forget to think about safety rules. Or you get preoccupied with the fight you had with your daughter this morning. Or you've done it this way a million times, so you don't have to think about doing it anymore. Wrong. It's time to think about safety again, but in a different way. A way that takes into account what makes us all human. It's time for people-based safety.
Hello, I'm Scott Geller, and for over 40 years I've studied human behavior. And for more than 30 years I've researched how behavior affects our safety. So let me tell you about people-based safety. People-based safety, or PBS, is a human approach to safety. It looks at more than just behaviors and takes into account the other things that make you who you are: what you think, what you feel, your attitude, and your personality. PBS looks at the whole person. What you do is important, but what you think, believe, and feel can be even more important.
Joan was in a hurry. She jumped from the top step of her truck without considering the consequences and sprained her ankle. Using PBS, you can prevent injuries to yourself and others. You know that some injuries happen more than others. So what are the 5 most common? If you guessed overexertion, loss of balance, contact, repetitive motion, and vehicle crashes, you hit the nail on the head. Look at each of these big 5 injuries in more detail. Overexertion is the first of the big 5 injuries. Overexertion injuries happen when you lift too much, push too hard, strain a muscle, tear a ligament, and reach too far. The second big 5 injury is loss of balance. This happens when you slip, trip, fall, or jump. Another common injury is from coming into contact with an object. Contact injuries occur when you get hit, cut, bumped, caught, or crushed. The fourth most common injury is from repetitive motions, like when you grip, squeeze, lift, move, or type over and over day in and day out. Vehicle crashes are the last of the big 5 injuries. They can involve vehicles you drive at work, like forklifts, bulldozers, and trucks, and vehicles you drive in your off time, such as your car, motorcycle, or ATV. How can you avoid the big 5 injuries? By applying people-based safety. People-based safety is about being mindful of your actions and your thoughts, feelings, and attitude. It gets you to start seeing and caring about what happens around you. This is the most effective way to prevent injuries. If you want to understand why injuries happen, you need to look at what you do. There are 3 basic types of actions you take. You follow orders, you direct yourself, or you operate out of habit. You follow orders when you comply with rules, follow your supervisor's instructions, do what someone else tells you to do, or when you do what you see everyone else doing without asking why.
Following orders can be a good thing. When you go by the instructions in a manual, you are following orders to operate the tool safely. But following orders without thinking about them can lead to risky behavior. What if someone tells you it's okay to take a safety shortcut? Do you let someone else direct your behavior? Or do you direct yourself by doing what you know is safe?
The next type of action you take is directing yourself. You direct yourself when you remember instructions, so you can do a job without being told what to do, when you follow the things you say to yourself, and when you follow what you know are the safest ways to get the job done. Like following orders, directing yourself can be both good and bad. You can direct yourself to be safe, like when you tell yourself to wear the right personal protective equipment for a job without someone telling you to. Then there are times you tell yourself to do risky actions. It's usually a matter of consequences, like saving time. Wendy told herself she could make fewer trips if she just packed on more stuff, but it didn't go like she planned. The injury to her shoulder kept her out of work the rest of the day. The last type of action is operating out of habit. You do this when you repeat actions so often they're routine. You do something automatically without thinking about it, and when you put yourself on automatic pilot. Getting into your car and putting on your vehicle safety belt without thinking about it is a good habit that lowers your risk of getting hurt. But other habits are not so helpful. JR has repaired his house many times. Each time before, when he reached far from his ladder, he never fell. It's become a bad habit. Today, he had a near miss. If he had fallen from that height, he could have died.
Somebody help me! You know, many safety programs stress you should make safety a habit. But making something a habit means you're not thinking about what you're doing. This can lead to an injury. It's important to be mindful and focus on the safe actions you need to take in order to complete your job safely.
We said earlier that you can avoid the big 5 injuries by applying people-based safety. So let's talk about the basics of PBS. PBS is broken into 4 parts, which can be remembered with the word ACTS. A for acting, C for coaching, T for thinking, and S for seeing. When applying the acting part of PBS, we look at our behavior and that of others. The first step in acting is to understand why you do what you do. Greg is working on this silo, making repairs to a valve. He wants to save time, so he does not wear fall protection. He's done it before and nothing bad happened. This time is different. The next step in acting is to pinpoint the critical actions you and others need to take to prevent injury. What are the critical actions Jim needs to do to avoid injury? One is to check and see if the boxes are too heavy to safely lift by himself. Another is to use proper lifting techniques. A third critical action is to make sure the containers are stacked at a safe height. The last step in acting is to improve your behavior by actively caring about your safety and the safety of others. When an injury happens, more often than not, there are simple but critical actions that could have been done to prevent it. When you care about what happens to you and to others, you look for those critical actions and do them. The second part of PBS is coaching. Coaching is a way to improve performance. To apply coaching, you need to observe the safe and risky actions of a job. Analyze what you observe and communicate that in a helpful way.
Remember the 5 essential steps of coaching by using the word coach. Care, observe, analyze, communicate, and help. Effective coaching begins when we actively care about our own safety and the safety of others. A workplace where everyone is observing what's going on around them and then communicating what they see is a workplace tuned into safety.
The third part of people-based safety is thinking. To increase your safety and that of others, you need to be aware of what's going on in your head. First, develop a safety mindset through self-talk. We all talk to ourselves. When we wake up in the morning, we tell ourselves what we need to do that day. When we drive to work, we might tell ourselves to slow down. Don't run the light. Get there safely.
You know you talk to yourself. Now use this self-talk to guide your decisions and help you make safe choices. Then you will learn how to direct your thoughts for safe actions. It's also important to prepare a mental checklist of things to do to prevent injuries. Often people start a task without thinking about the steps they need to take. They just do them.
The biggest risk Kelly faces when replacing a light bulb in the ceiling is a loss of balance injury. A mental checklist to avoid this injury includes finding a stable item to stand on, like a step stool or a ladder. Although a loss of balance injury is the most likely risk when working at heights, she still needs to be aware of the other big 5 injuries and how to avoid them. For instance, Kelly's mental checklist should include reaching the bulb without straining her shoulders or back.
If you don't think ahead, you might listen to your own negative self-talk, like when you tell yourself to take a shortcut in order to finish sooner. This leaves the gate open for trouble. When you prepare a mental checklist of the safe steps you need to take, you give yourself positive, safe self-talk.
The third step in thinking is to use your imagination to see yourself working safely. Create a movie in your mind of the right way to do a job. When you do this, you focus on safe actions, which direct your thinking and actions to be safe when you're actually doing the job. The last part of ACTS is seeing. Visually scanning the area for hazards and rating your risk helps you see hazards and make safe choices. How do you do this? First, evaluate how exposed you and coworkers are to hazards. Next, assess how severe an injury could be from taking those risks. Lastly, determine the probability of an injury happening. You've learned the 4 parts of people-based safety: acting, coaching, thinking, and seeing. Let's put them to use and see how they can save Bill and his new family needless suffering.
Billy, you forgot this. Has to go back in the storage.
What?
Where you rushing off to?
Oh, it's our anniversary. I want to get home early, surprise Susan with flowers, take her to dinner.
Okay, Romeo. But do me a favor, will you? Drop this off on the way out.
Yeah, sure.
Now, let's go back and review this tragic crash using the principles of ACTS. What critical actions can you pinpoint? First, Billy should have been looking and listening to everything around him. Then, he should have given the right-of-way to a larger vehicle, especially one already moving. Why did these behaviors occur? Did Billy forget his training about working in a high-hazard area? If he or others had given him feedback about his risky behavior, he might have taken safe action that day and avoided the crash. What was Billy's self-talk? What was going through his mind?
Man, it's cold out here. I'll just put my hood up for a minute so I can warm up. Taking a shortcut will get me to my car a little faster. I can make it home before her.
What a difference it would make for Billy if he had talked to himself about being safe.
This can be a busy place. I better pay attention. I'll have time. Susan will have to deal with crosstown traffic. I better focus on what I'm doing.
Now, Billy scans the area to figure out his exposure to hazards. Driving too close to other moving vehicles is a serious hazard. Obviously, the probability of a fatal injury happening decreases if he drives away from the truck's traffic zone. Paying attention to his surroundings also increases the likelihood of a safe arrival. Like Billy, it's up to you to use the 4 parts of people-based safety. As a result of your decisions, you can enjoy a healthy life, or you can risk injury or death, which would change your family forever. In this program, you've learned the basics of people-based safety, starting with the 5 most common types of injuries: overexertion, loss of balance, contact, repetitive motion, and vehicle crashes. Next, you learned the 3 basic kinds of actions: following orders, directing yourself, and operating out of habit. Lastly, we discussed the 4 parts of PBS: acting, coaching, thinking, and seeing. In our busy lives, we overlook the consequences of taking risks. Most of the time, the chances we take don't result in injury. However, why take the chance? Using people-based safety is a safety net for a longer and healthier life.
Applying the 4 parts of people-based safety saves lives. Yours, a coworker's, maybe even a family member's. Make the decision today to apply people-based safety to your everyday life. Take control of your actions and your thoughts so safety becomes an important part of everyday behavior at work and at home.
Skanska's PBS Safety Culture Journey. Where are we? Where do we want to be? How do we get there? We are here. Great long-term progress, but still too many incidents, injuries, and near hits. Safety is not instinctive. We want to be here. A people-based safety culture is embedded in every employee at every level on every job, where safety is instinctive and incidents, injuries, and near hits are eliminated. How do we get there? People-based safety. Understanding how our inner factors affect our decision-making on the job and at home. Our thinking process, our beliefs, value system. Develop safety culture champions, key leaders with the ability to inspire followers. Supervision and craft employees, as you lead, they will follow. Develop relationships with people. Provide positive recognition that motivates, rewards, and recognizes. Listen to what coworkers, peers, and project staff have to say. Respect. Engage and share. Feedback. How? By applying activating ACTS principles. A. Acting. C. Coaching. T. Thinking. S. Seeing. By taking action for safety and stepping up for safety. I Care Initiative. What is the I Care Initiative? a simple positive behavior safety program that encourages peer-to-peer recognition with the approach to help each other develop and maintain safe, directed work behaviors. Why? We need to actively care enough to go beyond the call of duty to observe coworkers with positive recognition. Give and receive feedback in a way that's acceptable to each individual observed. How? The I Care approach is a way to help each other develop and maintain self-directed safe work behavior. Build on peer-to-peer informal observation and feedback. Provide positive reinforcement and recognition. What gets positively recognized gets repeated. Value. We have made measurable progress in safety with the traditional regulatory and safety systems methods approach over the years. We need to now continue developing and promoting a people-based safety culture that encourages people to make safety a personal value, a way of life for themselves, coworkers, and families, at work and at home, by actively caring and looking out for one another. It builds trust and respect. I Care Card. I Care cards have been developed to help promote this principle. Use the I Care card to recognize and reinforce safe behaviors. A card to submit entry for anyone observed being a carekeeper for safety. Positive reinforcement and recognition will be made for those individuals identified by their peers and coworkers. Examples of submitted I Care cards. Observation. An employee took it upon himself to move barricades to reroute people and traffic safely along the brake shack to prevent people from walking into the roadway exiting the brake area. At the time, the roadway was blocked due to a lift being made while employees were at break. Observation. A graydall operator parked his fork truck in the road to stop traffic for a semi to back up in a congested area. Observation. An employee broke a cutting wheel on a grinder and was attempting to remove the cutting wheel without first unplugging the grinder. His partner stopped him and unplugged the grinder prior to him taking the wheel off. Observation. An employee noticed an opening in the boiler house adjacent to a catwalk that presented a potential fall and/or falling object hazard. He stayed and controlled the location and had safety notified, and it was corrected. Example of a PBS, actively caring for people. I Care actions observed. An employee was observed assisting an elderly lady using a cane attempting to walk across the rear parking lot, presumably to enter the bank's front entrance. The employee was in the process of getting something out of his truck approximately 20 to 25 feet away and noticed her, and immediately stopped what he was doing and proceeded to assist the lady walk to and from the bank's entrance.
As part of our people-based safety program, we use the I Care system, where craft employees can approach their fellow workers to point out safe work behaviors and empower the employees to have a say in the safety process.
The I Care program is vital to the support of our safety program. It backs the people-based safety values that we've pushed for many years, and it allows the employees to be engaged in their own safety process. By stepping forward and recognizing the actions of other people, we reinforce the culture of people-based safety that we've been looking for. The key element is the positive recognition for the people that are taking the steps forward to recognize those that are working safe, but also stepping up whenever you see a coworker making an at-risk action and preventing them from getting injured.
The I Care program is important to me to ensure that I get home safe to my wife and kids. It's a simple program. It's just people looking after people, ensuring safe work.
I Care. We here at Skanska stress the importance of safety. I have 5 nephews and 2 sons out here on the job. It's important to know that I have people out here looking after my family members all the time. We're all a team at Skanska. We all work together. We all care.
And with the I Care program here at Skanska, we're always looking for the positive things. We want to make sure that your neighbor watches out after you and make sure that you've got your proper PPE on. And we want you to watch out for your neighbor and make sure they have it. Even if you're just walking by and you see something that's not just quite right, you've got that card to say, "Whoa, wait a minute, guys. you need to do this. You know, put on your safety belt, hook your safety tether, you know, anything of that nature, because of course we've got the eye care program. And that's not just for you, but that's for your partner and your partner on this side, and for each one of us. We always want to watch out for each other and keep that positive attitude between each other and make sure that we go home safe.
AC4P, about AC4P. Actively caring for people refers to any behavior that goes above and beyond the call of duty on behalf of the health, safety, or welfare of another person. For decades, Dr. Geller, alumni distinguished professor of psychology at Virginia Tech, has applied behavioral science to keep people safe at work, on the road, and at home by increasing the quantity and quality of AC4P behaviors. In the aftermath of the April 16, 2007 tragedy at Virginia Tech, Dr. Geller and his students initiated a culture shift at Virginia Tech, the Actively Caring for People movement, by passing on the wristband when he or she observes someone else performing an act of kindness or safe work behavior in the workplace. By using the wristband to recognize the helping behavior, a tangible reminder of kindness and caring is associated with a feeling of self-transcendence.
Today I'll be reviewing the Stop Work Authority. My favorite at-work saying that I have is I want everyone to go home at the end of the day in the same condition as they arrived, only more tired. At Skanska, we are committed to providing our employees with a safe work environment. Safety will not be compromised for either profit or production. As our company progresses towards our people-based safety culture realization, we need all employees to make a personal commitment in making safety a paramount value and care by being personally accountable for their actions and are willing to step up, providing feedback to their co-workers and management. Safety is everyone's responsibility. We all have that voice in the back of our head that speaks to us on a daily basis. It might be my voice, my spouse's voice, my child, maybe even my grandchild. It could be saying, "Daddy, you should probably get a taller ladder." "Meemaw, I think you need a face shield." "Honey, you know better than to use that bad choker." "Tim, don't walk to the edge of that roof." Listen to those voices. Your personal stop work authority. You have personal stop work authority and are expected to use it whenever you see something you believe to be unsafe. You are responsible for your own safety. Don't do anything you believe to be unsafe. You have a responsibility for your co-workers' safety. Don't let them do anything unsafe. And you are responsible for reporting all safety incidents to your supervisor, including injuries or accidents you are involved in. You are expected to report all safety concerns to your supervisor and/or our company's safety resources. We expect the project management team to support you in performing your work safely at all times. No employees shall engage in any task, regardless of instruction, when there is any doubt of safety precaution measures or procedures. We maintain an open door policy on safety at all times at Skanska. Your personal stop work authority card has been provided for you in the back of the employee's safety manual that you'll be receiving. Remember, if you see something, say something and use your stop work authority. Your responsibility as a worker is to stop work if necessary and involve your supervision. If in doubt, step back and take another look. I'm going to cover the zero tolerance items. These are unacceptable at-risk behaviors. At Skanska, you've probably been hearing a lot and hopefully continue hearing about our iCare people-based safety program. This is focused on positive recognition for a job well done. However, there must be consequences for a person's actions, good or bad. It's necessary to continue enforcement of our existing safety policies established for everyone's safety and health. Our company has established certain behavioral expectations that must be adhered to by all without exception, called zero tolerance items. The consequences of violating these items may seem harsh and contradicting to the people-based iCare principles, but it's quite the opposite. They really showcase how much our company does care about their employees. The saying that your mom used to tell you applies here. This is going to hurt me more than it hurts you. In my 30 years as a supervisor, this is one of the hardest jobs that I have faced. It's still a necessary part of a supervisor's job because non-compliance of any zero tolerance item could be potentially fatal to you or one of your coworkers. This is a hardship that our company doesn't want anyone or their family to experience. At-risk observations of any of these 5 items shall result in a minimum of 30 days suspension without pay or termination of employment from our company, pending further investigation. The 5 violations are insubordination and safety principles or practices, fall protection, lockout tagout, confined space, and excavation. However, it must be emphasized that this is very important to provide recognition and positive reinforcement for safe performances that occur on a daily basis. In keeping with the iCare culture, people are always more motivated by observing and acknowledging their safety successes.
Processes in the safety video cover general highlights for Skanska projects. Refer to your site safety manual or your supervision for more information regarding site specifics such as construction plans, JSA, JHAs, SHIMs, and daily job briefings.
Skanska's goal is to become the world leader in construction-related environmental and safety performance. To help us achieve this, we have an integrated safety, health, and environmental management system, SHIMS. This management system is certified compliant with the ISO 14001 Environmental Management and the OSAS 18001 Safety Management Standards. This enables us to properly plan and mitigate any negative impacts our work may have on the environment, as well as providing for the well-being of our employees. The ISO OSAS management system is comprised of 16 procedures. Each procedure defines roles and responsibilities of employees, from the company president through superintendents, foremen, and the workers on the job. The project management team identifies significant environmental aspects and hazards on each project. These can include excavations, fall protection, lead, noise, hand tools, etc. Once a hazard has been identified, we determine how to control the hazard. Control measures include identifying training needs, work planning through construction plans, implementing corrective actions after accidents, and working within the controls of that plan. We then have to check that our control measures are working, or if they need to be improved. Remember that one of the responsibilities of workers is to stop work if necessary and involve your foreman. The foreman must implement hazard controls and report difficulties, problems to the superintendents. If you have any questions, please see your supervisor or the safety department.
The construction plan is an important part of our SHIMS process. It's essentially an expanded JSA that's put together by the project team prior to the start. They take a look at the job scope, the task, the environment, the tools and materials that'll be used, and they create a plan that's used to inform the workers prior to the start of the project. That document is kept in the hands of the foreman, reviewed at a minimum of every 2 weeks, and updated as necessary to make sure that all hazards are addressed accurately.
As we ask everyone to continue to do better and get better, one of the things that we've done within Skanska is our SHIMS program. And it's what it is. It's a management program that's helped us excel and review the things that work, the things that don't work, document control, and taking a look at the overall, what works, what doesn't work, not only from a policy or a rule standpoint, but the actions that we take in the field day in and day out. Some of the things that come along with SHIMS is our construction plans, otherwise known as safety plans in the history of the industry. These are things that are an overview of the job from a high level. We dive into the daily JSAs, and those are the detailed tasks and all the risks and hazards that are reviewed daily with our teams. Like we said earlier, the excavation behind me, it changes daily, hourly, by the minute, and we utilize our Take 5. The Take 5 is a tool that we use to bring everyone back together. As humans, we have a hard time foreseeing everything that's going to happen, and there is change, to where we come back and we take a look, we sit down as a group, we discuss it as a team, and then we move forward. We don't move forward until everyone feels safe.
Our company takes every reasonable precaution in the performance of your work to protect your health and safety, and that too of the public. Therefore, it's important to comply with all the established basic safety rules and safety requirements set forth by the company and outlined in your employee safety manual. Highlighting a few of those expectations for your protection are: hard hats must be worn by all employees on all construction sites and will be provided by our company. There are no exceptions to this rule. Employees may not wear hard hats other than those provided by our company. All electrical tools, cores, or any electrical devices shall be protected by a GFCI. Attendance of the daily JSA Toolbox safety meetings is required. Employees must also sign those. Compliance with the company's safety regulations, as well as those established by the owner as they apply to our work by contractual agreement, is a condition of employment. The use of drugs, alcohol, or horseplay, including verbal or physical misconduct on the job, are strictly prohibited. Use only approved tools and material that are in good, safe condition. All rebar or protruding reinforcing steel onto and into which employees could fall shall be capped or guarded to eliminate the hazard of impalement. 100% fall protection is required for all unprotected elevations, including open holes of 6 feet or more. Never walk or work under a suspended load. Personal cell phones are not allowed in the work areas during projects assigned established working hours and must be left in the break rooms or break areas. Personal use of cell phones are limited for emergencies or during projects established lunch and breaks. No personal radios, CD players, MP3 players, or other type of similar entertainment devices are allowed on company projects. And remember, employees must have current safety orientation with a verification sticker displayed on the right side of the company-issued hard hat prior to working, and any variances of company safety rules shall be approved by our company's corporate safety resources.
Any employee who violates our established safety rules, any local, state, and/or federal safety laws and regulations, and/or creates a hazard to themselves and/or other coworkers will be subject to discipline. The specific details and guidelines of the Skanska disciplinary program are described in the employee safety manual you receive.
Our company provides hand and powered portable tools that meet accepted safety standards. Here are some general requirements and safe work practices regarding tools. Tools shall be used only for the purpose for which they are designed. Employees must use the correct tool for the work to be performed. If they are unfamiliar with the operation of the tool, they should request instruction from the supervisor before starting the job. It's important that a damaged or malfunctioning tool must not be used and must be tagged out and turned in for servicing, and a tool in good condition be obtained to complete the job.
Also, all tools, regardless of ownership, shall be of an approved type, maintained in first-class condition, and be subject to inspection at any time. Tools with sharp edges shall be so stored and handled that they may not be damaged or cause injury. Tools shall not be thrown from one level to another, nor from person to person under any circumstances. Tools shall not be left lying around where they could cause a fall hazard. Tools shall never be placed unsecured on elevated places. When working on or above open grading or boards, care should be taken not to place tools on this walkway, lest they be knocked off, causing injury to people below. Porta band saws shall not be stored in gang boxes without having the blade protected or removed. And remember, safety clips or retainers shall be securely installed and maintained on hose couplings, and pneumatic tools to prevent attachments from being accidentally uncoupled. And lastly, when using grinder, pneumatic or electric, always ensure that you have the correct guard for the application you're using, and verifying the RPM rating on the abrasive wheel
is greater than that of the grinder you're using. And as always, please ask your supervisor if you have any question regarding the tools you're required to use to complete the job.
Excavations. Excavations must be inspected daily and must be documented. All excavations or trenches 5 feet in depth or greater must have a protection system in place. Adequate access must be maintained at all times. Access must not be further than 25 feet from worker travel. Spoil piles and all other material will be placed a minimum of 2 feet from the edges. Material handling and manual lifting. Any material greater than 50 pounds will require 2 or more workers to lift it or utilize a mechanical device. Mechanical devices must be used for lifting and moving objects or materials that are too heavy or bulky for safe manual handling by employees.
Our company provides PPE that meets accepted safety standards. Any damaged, defective, or malfunctioning PPE must not be used and must be tagged out of service and turned in for servicing, and PPE in good satisfactory condition obtained to complete the job. Minimum PPE required for all our projects are hard hats, safety glasses, high visibility reflective safety vest or shirt, work boots with steel or composite toe and slip resistant soles. Task-specific gloves, a minimum cut of level 3, shall be used. Except for our company, hard hats, which must be worn without exception, an employee may choose to use his or her own PPE as a substitute and upgrade from those items offered and provided by our company. In this regard, the item the employee seeks to use must, at a minimum, meet or exceed the safety requirements for that item as required by our company, be in good shape and satisfactory condition, and be used or operated solely by you and in accordance with safety recommendations of the manufacturer. And remember, you must notify your supervisor of your decision to use any upgraded PPE prior to engaging in your work task. And the item is or becomes damaged, defective, or non-operational, it must not be used and must be tagged out of service.
Scaffolding. Skanska requires scaffold tags to be attached to every scaffold erected on Skanska projects. Before climbing the scaffold, check the tag to ensure the competent person had inspected it that day. Please also refer to the Skanska Temporary Work Standard in your Employee Safety Manual. Incident investigation. All accidents must be reported immediately to Skanska. All accidents and near misses will be investigated to determine the cause and prevent reoccurrence. All accidents or incidents resulting in off-site medical treatment or property damage will require a drug test of the injured or involved parties. Hazard communications. OSHA created the Hazard Communication Standard, or HCS, which is now aligned with the Globally Harmonized System of Classification and Labeling of Chemicals, or GHS, to help ensure your safety when working with hazardous chemicals. Your employer is required by law to have a hazard communication program and train you on the contents of that program. Skanska wants you to know that you have the right to know the properties and hazards of any chemical or substance that you may use or be exposed to. Your employer must have copies of material safety data sheets readily available for you to review and train you on how to read the MSDS sheets. You are responsible for knowing the physical and health hazards, safe work procedures, required personnel protective equipment, and emergency procedures for every hazardous chemical or substance that you will be using or exposed to.
Our company takes every reasonable precaution in the performance of your work to protect your health and safety, and that too of the public. Therefore, it is important to comply with the GFCI safety requirements set forth by the company. Our company's electrical safety program requires the use of ground fault circuit interrupters, or better known as GFCIs, for your protection. All hand power tools, extension cords, or any electrical devices used by company employees must have a GFCI placed at the source of power. All 15 to 20 ampere receptacle outlets on single-phase 120 volt circuits for construction sites, whether or not a part of the permanent wiring of the building or structure, and equipment connected by cord and plug which are available for use or are used by employees, requires the use of a GFCI for employee protection, with the exception of temporary lighting. Also, a GFCI quad box or portable power outlet must be readily accessible for each portable power generator. And remember, the GFCI shall be checked prior to use for visible signs of damage and tested. Testing procedures and instructions are embossed on the GFCI and should be followed as stated. If any damage or defects are found, the GFCI shall not be used and tagged out of service for repair.
No person will be allowed to work on energized circuits without written consent from the Skanska Corporate Electrical Safety Committee.
On our lockout and tag out, the most important part is that every member of the crew understands the lotto, understands what they have their hands on, and that they're safe. Once everybody understands, feels comfortable with the job, we proceed with our job. Every time we do a new lockout, we re-verify, make sure everybody's comfortable with it. Never assume that there hasn't been any changes made. That's why it's important to verify the lotto, that we know exactly what we're dealing with each time that we work under a lotto. It's important that we follow all the lockout procedures to ensure that everyone gets home safe the way they came in.
The Skanska project's tie requirement is 6 feet or above. Be sure to check all your equipment and make sure your anchorage points are rated for at least 5,000 pounds. Any other questions? Be sure to talk to your supervisor.
Skanska has a strict 6-foot fall protection policy for everyone on all Skanska projects. There will be no exceptions for anyone that must work at an unprotected elevation 6 feet or greater off the ground. Fall protection is usually not required when working from a ladder unless you'll be working within 15 feet of an edge, i.e. guardrail system, etc. All floor and roof penetrations, holes, etc. are to be properly covered, secured, and marked.
The appearance and condition of the work area is a reflection of the amount of pride that both you and the craftsman and the company have in the work that we perform. Good housekeeping is conducive to a safe, efficient, and productive job. Therefore, keep your work areas clean and in an orderly condition. Equipment and material should be neatly arranged. Do not allow items or tools to lie loose on the structure, planks, or scaffolds. Hand tools or other objects must be placed where they will not fall. Locate air lines, electrical cords, welding leads, and burning hoses overhead out of the walkways to avoid tripping hazards. Unused materials should be returned to the storage areas. Unused tools should be returned to the gang boxes.
Aerial Work Platforms, AWP. Only authorized AWP operators will operate aerial boom lifts, or AWPs. All employees required to use an AWP will require documented authorized training on lift manufacturer unit and any site-specific training, which also includes emergency retrieval procedures, project-specific review and emergency retrieval procedures. Buddy systems are in place and being followed at all times while operating AWP equipment. And the superintendent or designee must observe the employee while the employee operates the machine to ensure that they possess the skill with the machine to operate it safely, including, but not limited to, safe operation of AWPs, hazards associated with the operation of AWPs, and how to conduct a daily visual inspection of the AWP machine to which they are assigned.
You try to make sure that you use the right tool for the right job. We take time and we prepare our JSAs to make sure that we plan the work and we work the plan. We take time to make sure that we don't rush into anything. There's nothing worth rushing into. Proper prior planning will prevent improper performance.
Ladders. You're expected to inspect your ladders daily and not use any damaged ones. Straight ladders are to be secured and extend 3 feet past the bearing point. Do not use step ladders without being fully extended or stand on the top steps.
On Skanska projects, supervision is committed to safety. We attend JSA meetings every morning. We do crew reviews, give our foremen coaching, help them identify the risks that their crew members are going to face throughout the course of a day.
One of the tools we use here at Skanska is called Predictive Solutions. We use it to track trends and see what's going on in the safety. We use it for positive safety reinforcement with the guys. We take these trends and report it back to the guys daily, weekly, so that we can develop JSAs and come up with better ways to perform our activities safely.
It's just an app that you can put on your smartphone. Sometimes we have them on handheld devices. Basically what this is, it's an application for safety inspections. A foreman may hand you this, have you go out into the field with him or by yourself and check out one of the job sites. What it does is it forces you to look just at safety for 5 or 10 minutes and make sure that all the guys on our job site are safe. Ask somebody if they're doing something right. Log it in. If they're doing something wrong, it's an opportunity to correct them and log it down. It's a tool that allows us to look at both safe and at-risk conditions on the job, but more importantly, it gives us a chance to coach the guys and bring us to a new level in safety.
I take safety at heart. Safety is not only my responsibility, safety is everybody's responsibility. In a supervisory position, it's even more my responsibility that I ensure that my employees, my workers, they understand safety. It's also my job to instruct people in my home safety, to raise my kids thinking safety. If everybody would think safety all the time, at home, at work, on the road, it'd be much better. Anytime we have a safety meeting, I usually try to end the meeting with a little slogan I came up with. Let's delay our trip to heaven, practice safety 24/7.
When I come to work in the mornings, I know that I'm going to go home safe to my family due to my guys having the proper training. Every morning we go over our JSA safety talks. Our foreman's always there to answer any questions that we have. And also I know that my guys are looking after me just as I am looking after them to make sure that we all go home safe.
We deal with positive reinforcement with good things that people do. We don't focus on the bad things. There are bad things that happen, but we try to mitigate those. We try to focus on the positive, the things that people do that are correct. We focus on those to where we get more good behavior out of the people that are here. The training in general that we've had out here, whether it be fall protection, confined space training, all these different things that we go through. We take classes on our JSA so we can do upgrading and getting these people the right information that they need to where they can keep these men safe, and we can be accountable for ourselves and for each other. That way we're always moving forward in safety. It's been known to be said that safety is like a child. It's always maturing. If you can never get satisfied. We're never satisfied with just saying we're safe enough. We want to keep these men safe every day. Nobody should have to go home hurt. It's not a war zone and it's not a battle. This is something we take serious here, and we're willing to do what it takes to make sure that we're always improving our safety program here with Skanska.
Our company is joining the Actively Caring movement. Actively Caring for People is embodying a large-scale movement that's aiming to establish a more compassionate, interdependent, and empathetic culture throughout the entire community within schools, businesses, and various other organizations. By encouraging people to actively care, individuals are inspired to perform intentional acts of kindness as part of their daily routine at work and at home. The positive exchanges between people resulting from actively caring behaviors and its supportive recognition has mutually reinforcing effect and leads to an actively caring culture in the workplace and at home. Therefore, as part of our company's safety orientation process, our company will be distributing the AC4P green wristbands to all employees completing the orientation have the opportunity to pass it on. While at work to a coworker observed working safely, going beyond the call of duty for safety, or to someone in their community they observe conducting a random act of kindness to another person. With each of us actively looking to care, as well as identify ARCs, a random act or acts of kindness, each of us can make a difference in achieving the PBS iCare and AC4P vision of world full of compassion, nations without wars, communities without violence, organizations without interpersonal conflict, schools without bullying, workplaces where people are actively caring and looking after each other, and families without abuse. Actively caring, not because we have to or need to, but because we want to. So please take and accept the AC4P green wristband and apply it to the SAPS process. C. Observe an act of kindness or safe work behavior either at work or at home. Act. Thank the person for actively caring. Pass. Pass the wristband and tell the person to pass it on. Share. Share your story at ac4p.org. Our company will be tracking the AC4P green wristband movement, actively caring progress of our employees throughout the year and sharing with you accordingly. The great thing about PBS iCare and AC4P is it evolves when we recognize and share. The more positive exchanges and positive recognition occurring between our employees on our projects and at home will have a reinforcing effect leading to an actively caring culture. PBS, eye care, and AC4P is 24/7, at work and at home. The vision? Imagine a world full of compassion, nation without wars, communities without violence, organization without interpersonal conflict, schools without bullying, workplaces where people are looking after each other, and families without abuse. Everyone has the ability to care for others. All we need is a proactive approach. Most importantly, caring for others is easy. Little sacrifice or deviation from your typical routine is required. It takes only seconds to do someone a favor or provide positive recognition, but the contagious nature of such acts is undeniable. Through caring for others as a community, we collectively possess the ability to make an impressive difference on each other's lives. I challenge you next time you step out the door to make someone's life a little easier. Recognize a coworker for a safe practice or job well done. Bringing a smile to a stranger's or coworker's face yields a level of fulfillment that is second to none.
To complete this orientation, your project supervision will continue to go over job-specific tasks that will be information derived out of your shims, your construction plans, your daily JSAs. Please pay close attention to these job-specific tasks and hazards that are mentioned from your project supervision. These are the frontline identification of hazard recognition witnessed by them. It is your job to continue to feed back to them and talk amongst as a group to make sure that we all work safe. Everyone comes to work every day and leaves safer than when they came. That's the ultimate goal.
In the next segment of this orientation, you'll be briefed by your project supervision and/or project safety resource representative on the project-specific safety expectations and requirements for your project, which were derived from the SHEMS, construction plan, and/or JSA developed specifically for your project. Review and discussion of the project EHS expectations and requirements will include, at minimum, the following information: the project and job description, brief explanation outlining scope of work to be performed, job plan, project contact information, responsible persons, competent persons, drug testing requirements, review site conditions, project schedule and workforce requirements, PPE requirements, housekeeping requirements, materials required, tools required, equipment required, permits required, training required, project emergency response rescue plans. Also during this briefing, it'll allow you the opportunity to ask any questions you may have regarding what your safety expectations for the project you're assigned are with your project supervision. Please ask any questions. You will also be given an employee safety manual, which has a verification form you'll need to sign indicating your acknowledgement of receiving and understanding our company's safety orientation. Your employee safety manual also has your Stop Work Authority card, located in the back of the manual, that you're expected to use when you see something you believe to be unsafe. And you'll be given a sticker, which you are to place on the right side of your company-issued hard hat. This sticker serves as your proof that you completed the current environmental and safety orientation. You'll also be receiving your personal People-Based Safety Eye Care AC4P green wristband to utilize for the AC4P movement that our company is joining that was previously explained in detail during the safety orientation presentation. Thank you. Do not hesitate to ask for safety advice or direction from your project supervision before you perform a task. Please refer to your employee safety manual and/or ask for safety advice or direction from your project supervision before you perform a task if you have any questions, as we can always restart work. However, we cannot eliminate an incident after it's happened. Be sure to sign the Employee Safety Manual's verification form and get your verification sticker. Choose to save a life and look out for yourself and your coworkers. We want you to work in an injury-free environment. Join us in our quest for a culture of safety excellence where everyone's actively caring and looking out for each other. Recognize risk, work safe, stay fit, and enjoy life.